Hello, everyone. I'm Allison, and welcome to My Weekly Meltdowns coverage of The Last of Us Season 1 finale recap. With me, as always, is Tyler. Been adjusting my lighting, going over my backdrop ideas. If you have a backdrop idea for me, let me know, because I want to change it up a little. Tyler had a really good idea. It would have to be better than his idea, because I'm technically in my mind already on Amazon shopping for his idea.
Well, here's the thing, Allison. Like, me having the best ideas is nothing new to this podcast, so you should just go with my recommendations for everything in life. You'll be set.
Anyway, let's just get on with it. Let's not go crazy. See, I pay him a compliment and it all. Anyway, guys, I have a shocker. Guess how many pages of notes I have?
2.
1.
Oh shit. Okay. Is it okay? So, but like, tell me why. Like, we're, I was kind of feeling a little underwhelmed with the season finale. I'm sorry if that hurts anybody's feelings. We also don't have like video game context, so we don't know like what's really coming next in season 2. But yeah, I thought it was okay. I thought it was like it could have been like episode 4 or something. Just like, I don't know.
It was.
Talk to me.
That was The Last of Us. We be the rest of them. Roy says in the chat. Hello, Rory. Yes, in the chat. Listen, I will never say.
Rory, if you want to come on with us, let us know.
Yeah, let us. We need help. So listen, great. It was a great episode. I thought it was good. It started strong. I have so many things that I will say this episode went by really quick for me. Like when it was over, it was over. I didn't check my timestamp one time while watching this episode. I didn't really say much during the episode. I was really invested. I was really impressed. I am all for not hesitating to do anything and taking care of business, The episode starts with a young woman running in the woods. She shows up at an empty house and announces, "Hello, I'm here." Who is she talking to? I'm sorry. Were the Firefly people in this house? I guess so.
Right.
I don't know.
I didn't know that either. Yeah, I don't. Maybe to Marlene. Like maybe that was like a safe house for both of them or something.
Right. Okay. So maybe that's where they were all headed, and she thought maybe that we were just sitting there with the lights off and nobody.
But still, generally in like a zombie apocalypse, like when you enter a random building, the first thing you do is not go, "Hey y'all, I'm here."
Yeah, that was my first thing. Was, "Hi, I'm here." There could be dead clickers, but that Well, I have
Rory
a fun.
Sure. Send him the.
Oh yeah, send him the link. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Rory, I'll send it on Twitter.
The actress playing Anna, Ellie's mother, is none other than Ashley Johnson, who is not only the original Ellie from the video game, striking resemblance, by the way. She is also Chrissy Seaver from Growing Pains and a bunch of other things. Ashley Johnson's got a good resume. She and Leonardo DiCaprio are the 2 people from Growing Pains that have substantial careers. Just saying. I mean, Alan,
birthday as Leonardo DiCaprio.
Do what?
I have the same birthday as Leonardo DiCaprio.
Do you really? Do you date women half your age?
No, and I think it's disgusting that he does that.
It's crazy. It's like, listen, I would date men half my age if I were rich and successful and not married.
Different. I know that's like a crazy double standard, but like that's different. That's like empowering for a woman to do that. Like
it is.
For a man to do it, it's like just a little jailbaity. And like, how young are we talking here? Oh yeah, here's Rory.
Rory, come on, Rory. Would you date someone half your? If you were my age, if you were 46 and you were successful and rich, you would date someone younger than you. If you were, yeah, you would. Come on, Rory, it's me. Rory,
Absolutely not.
what? Don't do this to me. Take him out. Oh, stop it!
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Okay, well, listen, we were just talking about Ashley Johnson. Ashley, where did that accent come from? Wow, there it is again. Ashley Johnson plays Anna, Ellie's mom, and she's the original Ellie from the video game. Come to find, Chris was telling my husband was telling me about that, and there's a striking resemblance between the two actresses.
Yeah.
I was taken back. I'm also impressed of giving childbirth while being attacked by a clicker. That baby shot out. I mean, that baby shot the F out. And wow, that's some stress birthing right there.
Yeah.
I've heard of women leaning over and sneezing or a baby flying out. That is a little crazy. You know what I'm saying, Rory?
Yeah. Yeah, just like it was like, oh, I'm just gonna barricade myself in a room. Oh, hello, just like, oh.
But we were laughing because we were like, look, it's she announces that she's there the minute she walks in. Hello, is there anybody here? I don't know, but anyway, it was sad. I got choked up because she scratched. Well, she cuts the umbilical cord before or after she scratched. I can't remember. Either way, it's sad. Yeah. And she, it's sad because you're thinking, oh, she's not going to raise this baby and she's trying to bond with her and she can't, nurse her baby and she's holding it. How that baby was not screaming its gosh damn head off when Marlene and company showed up being hangry. I will never know, because when a newborn baby is hangry or fangry or whatever you want to call it, they can shut a whole restaurant down or any. Yeah. I'm telling you, it was crazy. But it was sad. Marlene, who has come to find out, been through it all with Anna up until this point. She's hesitant about taking Ellie. She's like, I can't do it. But you're going to have to, you're going to have to. And this is supposedly how she becomes immune, how Ellie becomes immune. Her mom was scratched. Before or after she shot out the chute, I don't know.
I think it's
no verification, guys.
No, I know. I'm trying to think. I think it's because it was in that window of being bit, but not having take her over yet or something. There's probably that small window of I don't know. Maybe it has something to do with the umbilical cord, the antibodies had been sent there, but not the disease or whatever. I don't know. I don't know how biology works, but
yeah, no, same. I'm not a mathematician. They just left it open to interpretation, I think, with that window.
Yeah, she even tells what does she tell Marlene? I cut the umbilical cord before I was scratched, which is a lie, right? Mm-hmm. Obviously. Yeah. So it's just, I promise, bitch. I know you lying, but anyway. She does take the baby, and this is why Allison loves this show. Zero hesitation on Marlene's part. Walks right in and blows her head off after they take the baby. I mean, what is the point of dragging it out? We're not going to have a Sister of the Traveling Pants moment, okay? Sister of the Traveling Pants, whatever. Kumbaya moment before I kill you. I can't have anything to do with you. That's it. Okay? Mm-hmm. Just shoot me. I'm telling you, if it were me, just shoot me. I don't want to deal with it anyway. How I even made it this far in this apocalypse to have sex and have a child is beyond anything. Who's the dad? Are we going to find that? Remember, Tyler and I don't watch the video game. We don't know anything, so don't come for us. I'm sure Rory knows all the answers to the questions. Just wink. Give me a code. I don't care. But I'm sure.
After me. I don't care.
Come after. I'm just kind of curious. Are we ever going to see who the father is?
Yeah, Rory, do you know?
From the if I'm remembering my if I'm remembering my video game news right, I think they're working on a part 3, or there's a rumor going around that part 3 is in the works for the game. But spoiler if I'm forgetting, or if I'm forgetting and I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure the father isn't mentioned or in the picture in the story we have so far.
And that's fine. It's no big deal. But I was just kind of curious if that ever comes up. But yeah, and
sorry, I was gonna say actually, in fact, this whole thing of like the childbirth, everything, this was not even part of the game.
Oh, so this is
None
a side
of this
story.
was part of the game. Like the finale, like the preview for last week of I guess of them like seeing the free zoo animals was that was like again like straight from the game, but like all of this backstory buildup of Ellie's mom and everything, she's just mentioned in the game. We don't actually get her again.
I think that they did that maybe to play homage to all the former characters. All these people are being recycled. Like they brought back Tommy, they brought back Joel, now they're bringing back the original Ellie. And if you watch the after of it, they interview Ashley Johnson and she says, you know, this was a full circle moment. You know, I birthed this character. Now I'm literally birthing this character. I mean, seriously, you know, isn't that crazy? That's like if they did like a tell-all movie about My Weekly Meltdown. And I played my mother birthing me or something weird. I don't know. It would be a full circle moment. Let's continue. Let's move on.
Yeah, let's
get the fuck out of this subject matter. So anyway, we kind of cut to Ellie is somber. She's quiet. And Joel's picking up on this. That's kind of like me. When I'm quiet, it's like, what's wrong? Nothing. Mm-hmm. No, you're not talking and bugging everybody. You're not bitching about something nonstop. You're not talking about your grandson nonstop. What? You're not posting pictures of Cloudy. What's wrong with you? What the hell? You know, there's something wrong with Ellie. To the point that Joel asks to hear from the pun book. How bad is that? Like, Tyler, if I wasn't speaking, because I'd been traumatized and almost raped in a burning temple, and I'm just not speaking, what would you pick at to get me to talk?
Oh God, I think I would just lay it all on the table. I'd be like, Allison, talk to me. What's going on? I'm here for you. I know that is like if you try to like beat around the bush, like you just like shut down. You're like, I'm not seeing anything. I'm not dealing with this. But I'm like, no, you're gonna tell me what's wrong right now, and I'll tell you why you're in your head.
Rory, what would we pick your brain about if you were being quiet?
Oh God, I'm quiet most of the time. You just have to get me just rambling like a complete idiot, which is not also hard to do. I'm very easy to please.
Dude, all you have to do is tell me that my eyebrows are uneven and I will bitch and be paranoid all day. And that's it. That's all you would have to do is really attack something on my personal appearance that you know I'm paranoid about. Like my hair, because it's in the weird in between growing out phase. My eyebrows. Okay.
Oh yeah, this is Allison. Like right before we go live every show. Okay. I'm gonna like turn my camera off for a second.
My lighting. We did.
Hey y'all. I'm sorry. Do I look terrible? Ugh, my hair. Do I look okay? Is the screen too dark? I'm like, Allison, you're fine. You're beautiful. You're perfect. Your lighting is great. Let's go.
We literally, yeah, we were late starting because I had to go in and out and lighten up and it still looks terrible. But we had to go in and out and lighten up my shit. I couldn't have done this pre-show when I had all the time in the world. I had to wait until 2 seconds before. So me, who's early to everything, and if I'm on time, I feel like I'm late, does that for my own show. But yeah, I mean, they get to Salt Lake City, Utah, right? That's where they're going to meet up with Marlene and them. I have a wow. I did have a shit fit last night about this. They get there, they're roaming the building. Okay, God, I don't want to skip over a bunch of stuff because a lot of stuff happened in the middle. Like they bonded. Joel came clean about the scar on his head. We find out that he tried to commit suicide after his daughter died.
How do you miss shooting yourself in that? I'm sorry if that's like insensitive, but how do you miss that?
Well, he said the gun, he twitched when the gun went off, like he jumped. He jumped. I mean, it must have had a lot of kick, and it depending on, I mean, I don't know. I've never put a gun. I've swallowed pills, and I didn't even do that right. So I don't know if you want me to tell you how to do that. Rory's just like, I don't know what planet I'm on. I just think it kicked and it.
I'm sorry if that's an insensitive question. I just like don't think a human's reaction time is quick enough to react to the sound of the gun going off, and then that like flicks your hand out of the way.
Well, he's also deaf in that ear almost too. So he's deaf in that ear.
I forgot about that.
And that's the same side. So it's probably a bunch of stuff that happened. But they do end up bonding. And she says, you know, time does heal everything. So he opens up about Sarah. And he just kind of looks at her and says, it's not time that healed it. And I thought, oh, my God, that is such a touching. And they had this, this moment where they looked at each other and it was sweet. And then they go in this building, you know, and it just... Of course, she's freaking running off again, and they find giraffes, which was so random. I didn't know this was coming. She's just running off, and there's a fucking giraffe. I'm like, what? Because I'm like, how high up are they? What is happening? Like, are they up where? That's a long neck on that giraffe. I know a giraffe can go up high, but what is going? She was going up, like up. Yeah. And then she looks out and they're everywhere. I mean, there's like a whole bunch, and it was beautiful and it was nice, and she's a child again. And then they're walking, and these guys in the background, they throw a flashbang. And just a little FYI, if you're ever caught in a flashbang and you see one of those things, drop to the ground and cover your ears. Okay. Because the disorientation starts with your ears. That, if you cover your ears, it won't shield all of it, but it will keep your wits about you. He wakes up in the hospital with the fireflies. Marlene is staring at him. And this is where Allison's brain loses control. The hamster wheel is going full speed, and the little hamster is flown off. Why couldn't have Marlene taken Ellie to Salt Lake City?
Because
I need an
answer. I was wondering that too. Yeah, Roy, do you know?
I think I think just story of the game, but I think the only other logical guess is if she's like, her goal is, because Marlene's in charge of all the fireflies everywhere. If her goal is like, if the cure is really which they kind of drive this home more so in the game. So like it's not as much of a vocal thing here. Like I feel like the show tried to make the fireflies about our job is to take down Fedra. Fireflies in the game, their whole thing was about finding a cure and ending the pandemic and the apocalypse. So from the lens of knowing that from the game, it makes more sense of like, okay, Fedra is coming after me specifically because I'm in charge of the largest revolt against them.
Yeah.
I got to keep the cure or our only shot at a cure away from me because I'm a liability, or rather like I'm a liability to keeping her alive was the logic that I draw from why you don't do that. But even then, completely throwing her out of the control of the fireflies altogether, that was because when we first met Marlene at the beginning, she had just been shot and was down to minimal numbers in Boston. So that was part of the whole reason why they immediately made that handoff. It's like, you're smugglers, smuggler out. Get her to the Capitol building, and then it just kept pushing farther and farther west.
Yeah, it's like everything snowballed. Like they get to the Capitol, that's in disarray. Nothing is going the way it should. And it's kind of like, well, you know, maybe if you just let her go with Marlene, God knows how long these people have been there. This could have been done already. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being nitpicky, and I don't know. Maybe.
I think part of it also is just like we have to go meta, and like the other part of it is it's a story, and we have to have our peaks and valleys, and then our climax and our finish and everything. So it's just like, sorry, fourth wall and all, but like
Here's the problem.
If the doctor's in Boston, then we don't get this great adventure.
That's the problem, because I'm like, if I had been freaking Joel, I would have been like, do you know, you guys have been here? Do you know what we've been through? I got stabbed. She got almost raped by a weird pasty white guy in a burning building. My brother's been living the life in May fucking Berry, and is going to be a dad. What the fuck is going on? You could have just taken. I didn't even get the battery, dude. I didn't even get the battery that I was promised. And my chick is dead. My side piece is dead. The fuck. All of this, you could have taken it. You've been here. Spare me. God dang it.
God,
But anyway,
Salt Lake City.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like fucking Salt Lake City with your Mormons. I mean, everywhere. You'd think they would be thriving. So where are the Mormons? Where are they?
That is a valid question.
They let all the zoo animals out. Like,
They let
that's
all the
canon
animals
to the game.
out.
That's
Yeah.
canon to the game. The outbreak started and they released the zoo animals.
Is that true?
Yes.
Oh my God, the Mormons.
Oh, really?
They
were trying to do a whole Noah's Ark situation.
They were. They were trying to put us. Anyway, so we get it. This guy, Joel, is not having it. Fuck you, Marlene. Fuck the Mormons. Everybody. I'm done with this. It's been too much. Now I have a relationship with this girl. Now I fucking care. So I'm pissed. I care. She's like my daughter. I've called her baby girl. I don't just call any chick, any 14-year-old little girl, baby girl. Okay? It doesn't happen even in this up place. But they're so, Marlene is just so, I don't know. Sometimes you have to dial in and be cold as hell and just get from A to B to C and just laser focus, just like how she killed Anna. You know, you sometimes you just have to put yourself on autopilot. And I get it. I've been there. I've been on autopilot. I've never had to kill anyone across country with someone with the cure. But I mean, it's just, you kind of have to tap into that. And she's explaining to Joel, she's safe. She's being prepped for surgery. We've got a doctor here. He can take whatever the course, whatever. I'm not even going to get into these big words, medical words. And we're going to go from these, like, well, that course, whatever's located in the brain. And that's when Joel is like, well, that's in the brain. So, you know, what are you saying? She goes, well, you look, you know, say, you know, kill the one, save all of, what is it? Save the one.
For the greater good.
For the greater good, or kill the many, or what, save the many, or whatever. And Joel's just not having it. And she's like, okay, I see where this is going to go. Take him out. You know, I get it. I understand. If anybody gets it, it's me. And that's where I'm like, no, bitch. No, you don't. Red flag. Because I'm the one who just went cross country. Cross country. Were you petting your ass with her 20 minutes ago? I don't think so. So
okay,
you don't get it.
I have a different opinion on this. Like,
okay,
I think, like, if I were Marlene, like, just kill Joel in that moment and be done with it. I think, okay, if Joel was like resisting like that, which like I don't think that he should have, like, that was the whole goal, was to get Ellie there, like, just because she has to die for, like, to get like the cure or whatever, like, yeah, that sucks, but like saving humanity is like kind of better than like you like displacing your grief into this like random girl that you've only known for like what, like a month or two. It's a little selfish, Joel. And then like freaking I know I'm like jumping ahead a little bit, but like
No, you're fine.
when they're in the parking garage, like the final showdown or whatever. And I say showdown, but like it wasn't even that exciting, right? Like Marlene, like she tries to stop Joel. And she freaking like says something, and he like turns around like, if I were Marlene, like just shoot him in the back, and just take Ellie away. And all Joel had to do was just be like, okay, like let me say like one last like goodbye to Ellie, and then like go live with his brother in that like beautiful like camp, like live out your days peacefully. You did the thing. You completed the objective. Like I thought the whole thing was just a little selfish for Joel to be doing that. Sorry.
That was my whole thing, the whole question. What would you do? Rory, what would you do? Tyler doesn't like children. We've already established that on this show. So he'll fucking throw any kid with the cure at these. Yeah, cut them open. I got to go. Where's my dog? Where's Sora? We got to go. Now, if Sora was holding the cure,
even if it was Sora, no.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
If it was anybody I knew, like, sorry, Allison, even if it was you, I would say this is for the greater good.
I don't doubt it.
What would you do? Is a show on ABC. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. What would you do? That is a show. That is a good show.
I will say, I think like again, like beautiful execution from game to show in the sense of Joel's decision is very morally gray. Because we see like the shift in him from being like, you're just cargo, and the transition, which also symbolism of like, you notice that you literally can track the time that it took them to make this journey, because when they leave Boston, it's in the spring. Mm-hmm. When Joel gets stabbed, which in the video game, he gets impaled by rebar. So it's more fun there. That's the winter.
What bar?
Yeah, like rebar, like construction rebar.
What's a rebar?
Like a big metal like pole thing.
Yeah.
Like, wow. I guess they didn't have.
We've been talking about long rods like this whole week on My Weekly Meltdown.
Okay, I guess they had to spend that money on the creepy rape scene in the burning.
Yeah, they made changes, but to make it more grounded in realism, because the whole him getting impaled on rebar was very like unrealistic to get there, and much less him surviving it. But that's the point. Video game anyway. Just the whole point. You see the transition of like the seasons with the symbolism of the amount of time it took, and him going from like you're literally just cargo to place it like becoming emotionally invested into her and treating her as now his daughter. It is, I'm sorry, like if you just spent like no separation of time, like that amount of time, like I even think just the comparison of like Big Brother and Survivor, you see some of these people have such a hard time making those decisions at the end. Like it's like this person has literally been like family to me, and I know I got to get rid of them for my greater good of money, but I can't do it. Like we've seen that happen so many times. Like like it really is that dilemma. And honestly, what I would do, I don't know. I think my fight or flight of those two, I would freeze. I would literally be like, okay, we need you to leave. And be like, my legs don't work right now.
But then why doesn't Marlene just take him out then? You know, she was very cold with taking out Ellie's mom, and that was a friend of hers. You know, like I don't understand why. Like, they've gone all this way. They've set all this shit up. Like they're gonna let this ruin everything, and it did. It ruined everything.
Because
how much of her damn brain do you need for the cure? You need a piece of the whole thing.
Yeah, and like even then, the other reality is, I think the problem is even at the point of where Marlene does get the confrontation in the parking lot. At this point, the doctor is dead.
Oh yeah,
they kind of presented / the assumption of the apocalypse scenario. There is no one else capable of doing this. So even if you kill Joel, you still don't have a way to like.
You're still screwed.
Yeah.
It's like
Joel screwed the world the minute he shot the doctor.
every
Yeah.
bit of this. My favorite part is though, like, he decides really quick, fuck this, no, and he immediately starts grabbing guns. Where is she? And the guy's like, F you, I don't have time for this. And he just shoots. And that's what I love about Joel. Granted, I don't know how I feel about this decision, but the way he executes. The biggest mistake they make in shows is leaving someone behind, leaving people alive. And he did not do this. Something that I did not realize until it was over was my husband points out, oh, he left those nurses alive. He's like, we didn't see them die. He said, turn around. But I think there was two of them. 2 or 3. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But he left. He killed everyone except the nurses. He killed the doctor, and he takes Ellie. And I think that the backstory with Sarah and all of this, if it did not exist, then there would be no reason for these two to, I mean, you can be together with someone as long as you want, but if you've never been like a parent, or from my opinion, from my perspective, I'm not saying this about everyone, but I feel like they had to show that he was a parent and had a connection with a young woman, a young girl, so that when Ellie came into the picture, this was going to happen irregardless, because he has that in him. He is a father. He is a father that he was not only a father, he was a single father who raised a young girl on his own, a young father. So this wasn't just a part-time parent. This was a legitimate full-time parent. Lost his daughter, tried to end his life. He was so distraught, which I freaking get. There was 20 minutes 3 years ago, Tyler, so I know you're about to roll. There was 20 minutes 3 years ago. I thought my son was dead in a car accident on my way to the hospital. I didn't know I was going to walk into the ER with a corpse to identify or a child alive. Longest 20 minutes of my life. And in that time period, I was rock solid cold. I could have pissed an ice cube. Okay. I mean, I was cold and dead, and I was on remote control, robot, laser focus mode. So with Marlene, I can understand that I got to cut off that part of me to get this done. I don't think she's ever had children. I don't think that she's, I get she kind of raised Ellie, but I kind of feel like a group of people raised Ellie. I'll see this woman holding her on a hip anywhere. But Joel is the opposite, where he goes in and he executes, doesn't hesitate, takes care of it, talks to her. She's telling him bullshit. It's bullshit. Were they going to take her entire brain or whatever, and all of a sudden you're just going to have a cure? There are steps to making a cure. I'm not a doctor. I've never made a cure, but I'm thinking you take so much and it works. Okay, well, we've got to increase it or we've got to decrease it. She's making it sound like we're just going to put this in a freaking shake. We're going to put this in a fucking shake, and you're going to put it in your little shake until here you go. Here's the thing. Go for your muscle milk. Here's your freaking whatever you want to call it, and it's going to work. So this is something that's going to take time, and you're going to have to start over from scratch. She's going to shoot him the minute he turns around. If he doesn't do anything, he knows this. That's why he takes her out. He puts Ellie in the car. If that bitch hadn't made a noise, she would have lived. But he hears it, turns around, and he doesn't hesitate. And he flat out tells Ellie a lie. It turns out there's multiple people like you. They couldn't do anything with the blood or whatever they got from you. This girl knows he's lying. Every fiber of my being, yes.
That is a lie. I wasn't sure if I had missed a beat of dialogue that Marlene said or anything. Okay.
It was an absolute lie.
That makes me even more.
It makes it even worse. He lies to her, and she's looking at him at the end, and she's like, I need the truth. I need to know. And before I go commit myself to Mayberry down there with Tommy and company, I need to know what's going on. And he's like, I promise, I swear, and the look on her face is just like, I love this man so much as a father figure that I am willing to accept this right now because I have no other choice. I'm going to get down there and this girl's going to regroup. Give it time. People regroup. They think it settles in. The truth, baby, it's like I told my son when he learned how to talk and told his first lie. Tell the truth. The consequences will be much less because the truth always comes out. So I think season 2 will revolve maybe a little bit more about the truth creeping up to the surface, because I'm telling you, those nurses are not dead and they're going to get out. That is going to come into play. Here we go, Allison's predictions. But that's kind of where, I'm sorry I keep talking, but my husband and I had a talk today. I had a doctor's appointment and my mind was all over the place and I needed something to take my mind off of it. So Chris and I were in the car, this 30-minute car ride, and I said, okay, I know I don't want to hear what you would do. I said, I want to hear what would it take for you to do what you would do. And he goes, okay, you answer first. I go, okay, I tell you what, if it were my son, if it were my grandson, if it were you, if it was freaking my cat Finley, anybody, I want to know what the aftermath will look like. I have yet, and call me crazy, I may not know of it. I may have never heard of it, movie, show, or anything. I have yet to see a show the aftermath of what happens when we've cured all the zombies on The Walking Dead, when we've cured all the clickers on The Last of Us, when all is said and done. How do you rebuild countries? How do you rebuild the United States? How do you take all of these people who are ravaging, raping, and living off the land, content for 20 years? How do you take these people and control them again? How do you take these people and put them in a government? How do you have a president? How do you put them back into society? I want to know, if I sacrifice my grandson, that this will work out and everything will be okay, because I'm not going to take the head off my kid and nothing good comes of it. Rory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that was the whole point too with Joel's decision making, is like, it's not even a guarantee you're going to make a cure from this.
Right.
Because all of the setup we see during the course of the show, like with the experts and the first episode to the professor in why am I blanking on the country now? That we jumped to at one of the episodes early on in the season.
Was it not Thailand? Korea, Thailand.
It was an Asian country, and I'm
Malaysia.
Yes, I think so.
It was Malaysia.
But the big setup that they had, and the whole point they had, is they're calling it a cure. They're calling it a vaccine. There is no cure for fungus. Was the point that they were making. There's not a cure. If it's a fungal outbreak, we're screwed. So, I mean, like,
it's in the ground, right?
Right. And
like, it's in the ground. What are you going to make it into fertilizer? What are you going to do? You're going to drop the yellow bombs they did in Vietnam and just kill everything around the ground and everything? Mustard bombs? What are you going to do?
No.
That's the thing. It's like, yeah, my brain just cannot wrap around, like, you can't, it's going to be the Wild West. I mean, what are you going to do?
I mean, it's not a fun historical context, Nick, but I think even, like, going back to your point of, like, what happens, like, let's just say if this cure is pushed out and the government's trying to reestablish itself over the country, I think a very, again, not a good comparison to make, but I think of, like, situations that happened post-Civil War here in the South, in the sense of, like, people with power, aka the plantation owners, basically lying and saying, oh, yeah, no, y'all ain't, no, you're still, no. Like, I think, like, it's going to be a sense of,
because there's no way to verify it.
Until the government comes knocking on your door, and even then, let's just say if that happened tomorrow, you might not have an entire country for the next 100 years because of the time it's going to take to spread and then people to believe and then fall actually back in line.
Yeah, because there are going to be people like that couple living off the, in the cabin who are content. Like, I'm not paying freaking taxes anymore. I live my life tax-free. I hunt. I make my own electric. I got my own little windmill. I got my own electricity. I ain't bothering anybody. And you want me to pay taxes again You want me to fund shit I don't believe in? You know, bullshit. I live in a state right now where if you're a drag queen or if you do anything, you're going to jail.
Mm-hmm.
For what? It's ridiculous. So we're going to reestablish this bullshit into society again? No, we're not. There's no freaking way. And I just want to say, I do not support Governor Litt. I fucking hate this guy. He can eat a fat dick. Seriously. Because there's also this other guy that's leaving thirst messages on young gay men's Instagrams. I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
You guys are terrible. I think you're in the closet and you can't come out.
Oh,
and that's
sure.
what it is. It's reflect, whatever the frick you want to call it. Get out of here. God damn. We got more important things going on in Tennessee. Like we got to keep our police officers under control. Hello, Tyrese Nichols. People, let's pay attention to other things. I guarantee you, drag queens, people who dress up, men and dress up, better parents than some of you assholes. Anyway, so I'm off that tangent. I'm so sorry. God bless America. But it just, I don't know how. My flag. It's a red one. What do you think? I almost hit myself. I don't know. It just, that was, and Chris kind of agreed with me. He's like, I would be willing to probably hand over a stranger, but someone that I have spent time with and I love and I've raised and all, he goes, it just depends. Cause he was kind of like you were saying, I think, Tyler, I've only spent so much time with this person. What kind of, am I going to make this selfish decision? But it's like in the Big Brother house, it's only 3 months, but you're together so much. It's like, I'll be honest with you, man, I'll fuck someone over for $1 million. No problem. But I don't know. But when it comes to a cure, it's like my mind goes crazy. It's like, I don't know what the world's going to be like. What if it's worse? What if it, what are we going to ignore all the murdered people?
Like so I understand like your line of thinking. I understand how Joel comes to the conclusion that that's what he has to do, right? Like I get how you get there. My frustration is with Marlene not just fucking taking him out.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is the people that F up everything.
That
These are the people that,
yeah,
everybody in any show ever made, every movie ever made, there's always that idiot who lets one person live, and that's Marlene.
Mm-hmm.
Not Joel.
So you got what was coming, girl. Sorry.
Yeah. But it just kills me because it's like if we try to reestablish a government and do all this stuff, it's like, so we're just going to ignore these ditches full of dead bodies. I mean, we're just going to fill that in.
Of course.
Yeah.
How are we going to account for everybody that's gone? Can we just admit this has been the purge for 20 years? I mean, come on, let's be honest. Purge. This has been the purge. People are, I've got a list. Just know that. I am obsessed with the movie The Purge. All of them. I've got a list.
They're good. I like those movies.
Present Party is not on that list, just so you know. Some people that have been on the show are on the list, but we're not going to go there. Anyway, so.
I'm bringing my laptop into the kitchen to make Sora dinner while we're doing this show.
So.
We on the move.
We're on the move. Oh, it's the cam. The Tyler cam. What would you do, Rory? Would you, because you said you would freeze and you would not be able, but when you come to, it's kind of like, it's like a lot like reality. You don't know what you're going to do until you're in that situation.
I think a lot of it also, to pull from a great show that a complete stranger recommended to me called Yellow Jackets.
Oh, hell yeah.
Episode 1. You have to find your purpose. And I think to a certain extent, Joel's purpose, and if I'm Joel, my entire life for over a year now has been getting this girl to where she's got to go. But the problem is now I'm emotionally invested in the package. So It's just, I'm not a parent, so I think that's why I'm kind of more like, yeah, I'm gonna help more people, but like, yeah, I understand, like, I care about your kid, but also like, but even then, I think a better comparison, because because it's not a guarantee. It's like winning Big Brother, but then it's like, okay, you didn't win $500,000. Now you get to spin a wheel, and there's a chance that you're gonna win some money. Otherwise, you could have just screwed over a bunch of people for nothing. I mean, there's no guarantee that it's a cure. So it's like, for a chance at a cure, it's like.
And I feel terrible saying that you have to be a parent, and I hate that, because I know there's people out there are going to be like, I'm not a parent, and I'm not bashing anybody. I'm not saying you have. I'm just saying that there is a connection because of his relationship with Sarah that has bled into his relationship with Ellie. That is the comparison, and I can only compare what I know. I could never turn my son over. If it's been 20 years. And now you know, I want to guarantee in writing. I want to know that if you take
but
my
Ellie's
son,
not his daughter.
I know, but if this were me though, I would want to know, like, I'm going to give you my son and I'm going to raise my grandson from here on out. I need to know that the world that I'm going to put him in is going to be okay, and it's not going to be worse off, because you got these people raping and pillaging. These are going to be the same people you put in office. You know what I'm saying? So just keep that up. But yeah, I know I'm going in circles here, but
no, it's a good thing to talk about. I just
if I traveled with someone like Jacob, who is dead, who died, and then I meet a young man that looks just like or acts like my son, you know, and I have it, it's going to be hard.
Yeah. So Rory, I want to hear like what's like, as the person here who has played the video games, like now that the season's over, like what do you think about the season as a whole? Like, do you think they did a good job? Like, what could they have done better? What was like different than the game? Like, give me all of those thoughts.
Oh, I think they did a fantastic job. But I also I do want to give some credit to the game, because I think for a lot of stuff that has been a video game adaptation, the translation to movie or television is terrible. Last of Us was made almost as like, okay, this is a movie. There's just certain parts of this movie that you're going to get to control the main character. Not what they say, but like what they do.
Okay.
So from that sense, the game was made very easy to become a film adaptation, which is why I think I said, like, in the comments of the first episode, I'm like, this was like the birth of like really big mainstream of like cinematic style for a game. I think that they made a lot of decisions to make it easier on a production standpoint, which is why I'm not upset about them. I find it hilarious that a lot of people are mad about certain decisions that were made, when quite literally they were the same decisions that were made for the game. Like try again, y'all think like try again. Anyway, point is like, this is, in my mind, I'm like, this has been the story the whole time. So it's just like, obviously they have to cut some stuff out, but honestly what they cut out of the game was filler anyway. Filler, like, oh, get through this horde of zombies. We don't need to see that 12 times across the show.
Oh God, tell me about it. Tell me about, like, okay, I got to bring it up. The Walking Dead.
Walking Dead.
I can't help it. Okay, but like Kirkman, who created the Walking Dead comic books, there were things that he did in the comic books that he wished he had done differently, that he fixed in the show. Right. And there are a lot of people that stopped watching the show because it deterred so much from my son is one of those people. My son loved the comic books, and his big downfall was a couple of things. I don't give a shit. The show's been on for 13 years. If you don't know what's happened by now, I don't know what to tell you. Lori Grimes dies in the prison attack from the governor when the baby, Judith, she and the baby are killed in the prison during the fight, the shootout. And that really did something to Rick and Carl. You know, it was always the two of them. And in the show, Lori dies, but they keep the baby alive. And then trying to find fucking diapers and formula becomes a whole other side story. And it just killed me that, oh, okay, we just happened to find all this crap. You're killing me. But it just, you know, Daryl Dixon didn't exist in the comic books. He was a new character. Just a lot. Carol, they completely changed Andrea. They completely changed Carol. I like what they did with Carol.
So yeah, that's what I'll say then is like what Last of Us did differently than Walking Dead is the changes that they made for the show. Like, for example, Joel getting stabbed instead of impaled completely all the way through by rebar. The decisions they made for the show from the game didn't kill the momentum.
Okay.
To the point where I can confidently say, without spoiling anything for part 2, when it's happening, because it's already been confirmed part 2 is happening for the show.
Yeah, they've already.
So
they renewed it after like the first episode.
Period. And
Period.
So which is fun, and I can touch on that a little bit without spoiling anyway. But I can confidently say from this that it doesn't change the trajectory of anything that happens in part 2 from what has happened in the show of part 1. And the only thing I will say that is minor spoiler of part 2 is there is a like at least I'm blanking on the time, but it's an at least 4-year-ish time skip.
So they time jump
parts 1 and 2. Okay. So like hypothetically we could get season 2 of The Last of Us not being a time skip.
Yeah,
because
I don't.
Otherwise they're recasting.
Yeah, well, you know, Bella Ramsey's 19 in real life. So, and she's playing a 14-year-old, so they could make her look, you know, older.
Yeah.
Potentially. But yeah, I see what you, but yeah, sometimes for me, time jumps can work. I'm a huge fan of the show Revolution. That show was before its time. I think that that was a show that didn't have anything to do with a freaking, it had to do, like, we lost electricity. Okay, that's what we lost. We lost electricity. Okay, some EVP, something went on. We lost electric. Planes were dropping out of the sky. It was great. Yeah, exactly. We were in the dark, and civilization had to rebuild without electricity, and it was great, and I loved it. And they did a time jump when they started season 2, a little bit, not too much, and I liked it because it made sense. Because sometimes you can't really feel in between seasons. You know, if we pay attention to this, it's just ridiculous, and nobody cares, and it's going to, people like Allison Keller are going to bitch about it on her podcast, My Weekly Meltdown. And do we need that? No. So let's just continue to say, you know what I'm saying? So I like a good time jump. Do I like a good time jump on The Walking Dead where they age Judith 7 years and she's walking around with Daddy's python and the hat, and that little bitch can shoot it and not fly back 20 feet with that kick? No, I don't like it. I don't. But and how the fuck does Daryl Dixon have the same gosh damn haircut? I mean, we are 15 years in, and he's still got the same. Even Carol had short hair, long hair, and short hair again. Come on. Anyway, even she's changing up her hair in the apocalypse. Anyway, I don't want to get on that stupid. If it's a good time, Jade, it's worth. Hi, Beth. If it's a good time, I appreciate it. But I think this show will not F it up. I think it'll be a good time jump. If it is 4 years, I can dig it. I think that's a good idea. Let's do it. Let's see what's happened. I want to see a bunch of kumbaya and then the truth come out and shit hits the fan. Let's shake things up.
There you go.
We'll see.
It's hard for me not to see spoilers, though, because I get on YouTube and it picks up in my algorithm. And I see The Last of Us Part 3 or whatever, and I see something, I'm like, whoa, fudge. So see, I already know some things. I wish I didn't know that I think it might happen. You know, Pedro Pascal's a busy guy. He's a busy guy. We got a lot of shows. He's a daddy. He's a daddy now. He's birthed many shows. He's spitting
Don't spoil
shows
anything
out.
for me.
He's birthing shows like Anna did in the beginning of this episode, spitting these babies out of his crotch. Sneezing and a show comes out. Anyway, so I'm excited for season 2. It was lackluster, but I think it just went by quickly. I think we were all expecting something, maybe a herd of clickers or something crazy, but that's because we've been conditioned and abused for so many years by shows like the TWD or whatever. You know what I'm saying? That we're conditioned to believe certain things are going to happen, and they don't. And I'm okay with that. We don't need to see the clickers. We know they're there.
I could have used a little more action in this season. I know, like, people are defending the choice not to, blah, 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 blah. But, like, I could have used, like, 1 or 2 more, especially in the finale, you know? Joe looked sleepy as fuck walking through the hallway, killing everybody in the hospital. Like,
he's bored with saving this bitch.
I've never been more bored in my entire life. Like, watching that sequence, like, it was so anticlimactic, and apparently it's like a big thing in the video game, this like big action sequence. But like, holy shit, he was just like, oh hey, what's up, going to the next room, hey, what's up, like,
yeah, dude, come on, it wasn't a heads up. It was like dude was not hesitating, just went in for it. He was even killing people who were begging him not to, but you don't kill the nurses.
So then give me like more intense close-ups and like action music, you know what? It was just such a lull for what it was. I felt nothing.
Time on the fire. Fire's expensive. It is what it is.
You know, what if you ran into a zombie and then like locked the zombie in a room with one of the cops, and like we see them like blood spatter on the wall or something like that? That would have been fun, but it was just like, hey, I'm going to shoot you and then walk up to you and like stab you in the neck. I'm like, okay, been there, done that.
Maybe this is how it is in the real world. I mean, there's not background music. People aren't walking it. Hi, Tim. People aren't, you know, hesitating. Chris was like, man, if somebody comes, hi, Tim. If somebody comes in between my family and me, he goes, I don't care who you are. If you're coming to take what I've got, you know, I will say, so I read somewhere back in the day that The Walking Dead does not reference the zombies. It references the people. Because Rick Grimes does give an amazing speech in the comic books and on the show. Because goddamn, Andrew Lincoln is just so freaking good. He's too good for that show. I'm hoping the spinoff is good because he and Michonne, I can't remember. I can't even pronounce her real name. Not even gonna try because it'll be disrespectful. But she's amazing. She's in Black Panther films. Just the two of them are too good. Let's just take them out of the equation and put them in their own spinoff, and I'm okay with that. But he gives a speech about how it's not the threat. Zombies. Let me tell you something. I put it to clickers and zombies and all that. They aren't effing each other over for meat and all this stuff. They're not effing each other over. They got one job to do and they freaking do it. It's people that are raping and pillaging and torturing and killing and doing crazy stuff. We are what we become. You are what you are. The Walking Dead. We become the Walking Dead. And The Last of Us, I don't really know the meaning behind that, but you know, we'll get there eventually. But like I said, whenever I've gone into any show, any movie where there are zombies and even the Night of the Living Dead, that masterpiece from the 60s, it isn't the zombies. It's the people screwing each other over. Hi, Tim. So Rory and I are going to start covering Yellow Jackets. Speaking of another,
this is a show about bees.
Buzz. And talk about an emotionally unbalanced show. Let's just keep this fun bus going. we are rewatch. I just started rewatching season 1 of Yellow Jackets. We've got the premiere, I think, season 2, episode 1 coming up. I think the 26th of March, and he and I are going to do a season 1 recap. And Tyler, our door's open if you want to swing on in and try to watch season 1. I'm telling you, everybody thinks it's a bunch of teenage girls acting all crazy cannibal. Partially true, but not all.
I'll watch the trailer and make a decision based on that.
You need to see that doesn't do it. Season 2 trailers are freaking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good because it's deep, it's psychological, and it's kind of like, what would you do in this situation? And I love it when it's like, what would you do?
Mm-hmm.
What would you do? What are you forced to do? And then what do you do when there's like spirits and ghosts around? And just saying, I don't want to give it away, but we're going to do that here in a week or two. But that's it for The Last of Us. I don't know. Does anybody want to? I've already said my predictions, so I'm kind of excited. I hope there is a time jump, like Roy said. Possibly, maybe, could be.
I don't really have any like predictions. I thought it was an okay show.
Great. Hard-hitting journalism review podcaster right there, Rory.
I'm sorry.
Thank
you for that input.
You asked,
Take it
so
away.
I answered.
Take it, Tyler.
It's the same energy of SpongeBob during the campfire song. You go, Squidward. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
Take it, Russ. Okay.
I'm very happy because I was very worried, just like because the stigma with video game adaptation to like traditional film and television. So like, I'm very happy with it. I'm very happy with some of the seeds that they planted that they didn't in the game for the future, and I think they did a phenomenal job. I'm very happy.
I love it just from someone who hasn't seen it. What I've been doing is I've been going on YouTube, trying not to get spoiled and watch these scenes from the video game after the fact. So I haven't seen it yet, but I'm going to, as soon as this is over, I'm going to try to find it. This hospital scene. Cause like you said, I've heard it's better than what the show did.
Yeah,
maybe
the show condensed it. The show heavily condensed it because it is very much is the like final boss. It is literally the final level of the game of like, breaking Ellie out of the hospital. So like, very much dumbed it down.
So, question, and we'll wrap this up. She's laying in the back of the car, and she's like, "Where are my clothes?" And he's like, we'll find you some. Or what does he say? Like, well, it was too quick. I had to get you whatever.
Raiders
the Raiders.
We'll find you new ones.
Whose clothes is she wearing when they hiking 5 miles to get to Joe didn't have another pair of boots. They established that way back in the episodes. He was duct taping his boots, and his brother had to give him a new pair of boots, which proves right there he didn't have another pair of boots. Whose fucking boots is she wearing? Tyler? Thank you. La, 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 la. Take it, Russ. La, 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 la. Christmas vacation reference, anyway.
Let's go.
No, but didn't they like? She like found like a box of clothes in like a house in like the first episode or two, right? And that was
yeah, but
like,
where's that box?
Like, video game clothes. I'm sure that it's not in Salt Lake City.
Is it in a bag?
Box with them.
She didn't have a bag.
I'm pretty sure in the game, like they completely rewrote that. Which actually, yeah, that they completely rewrote that. I'm pretty sure in the game he grabs his bag and her bag.
Okay.
Like. It's not like
I'm nitpicking. I'm sorry, but that was my big thing because I started in and my husband goes, "Oh shit." He goes, "Can you just like?" Because I go, "Where did that come from?" He goes, "Oh shit." I wish I could. He goes, I go, "Oh wait." He goes, "Oh shit." And I immediately zeroed in on the boots. I said I could get her wearing his clothes, but the boots is ridiculous. Okay. Well, with that being said, thank you so much for watching our coverage of The Last of Us. We'll be back for season 2, maybe. I don't know. Yes, we will. We will be back later this week for Survivor season 44. And
we will be back for Big Brother Canada.
Oh, yeah, we're not covering Big Brother Canada because we've decided that you cannot call a show Big Brother if you're taking that element of Big Brother out of the show.
Period.
All right, everybody have a good rest of your night. Rory, thank you for joining us as always, and we'll see you guys soon, okay? Bye-bye.